Hi, welcome everyone to today's episode of Tech Falcon. So today we'll be looking into CSS. Today we'll be looking into CSS and method of using CSS. How many methods do we have in using CSS in our project? How can we use CSS? And we have three methods of using CSS. We have the inline, we have the internal, and we have the external method of using CSS. And today we're going to demonstrate how we can use them, and at the same time the benefits while using them. Why do we have three methods of using just one particular thing? So now we're going to use the file that is still available in our workspace here. So now we're going to start with inline method. So to use inline method with inline CSS method with our document or our file or in our project, to do that you're going to add the style to that particular tag as an attribute. If you don't know what attribute is, you can check our video back in HTML class. So attribute is well explained and perfectly detailed there. So now in order for you to add inline CSS to this file, now you're going to add it to it as an attribute, and to do that go to the opening tag of that particular tag, the opening section of that particular tag, like where I am here now, and call the style attribute. Inside the style attribute you can declare any style you want. For instance, now if you want to use a color, let's say we are changing the color to green. We are changing the color of this text to green, and after changing it to green you want to change the font size. You say font size, we are changing the font size to something small like 16 pixel, and so on and so on. We can do so many other things, but let's hold it here. Let's load this in the browser and let's see what we're going to have. And loading it in the browser, now we have our text here displaying down here, and the color is green while the font is kind of small. So now let's still use this inline to do one more thing. Let's realign the text to the center. Let's see text align to the center, and if we go back to our browser again, we're going to see that this text has been aligned to the center. So this method is called the inline method. So now the next thing I want us to do again, let's work with the internal method of styling. So to do the internal method of styling, go to the head section of your HTML doc type. The head section here, you can put it either at the beginning or at the end, but I love this my style if I'm using an internal to be at the bottom. Let it be the last tag in the head section. So I will open a tag inside here like this, and this is where I'm going to start declaring my CSS. So the only tag that is available here is h1, so I will not use this h1. I will make another tag. I call it the p tag. I can put in any text inside. So now I want to style this p tag, and here I will call the p tag, open a curly brace, and start declaring whatever thing I want this p tag to have. For instance, I want to change the color. Let me say color. I want to change the color to something like blue. And after changing the color to blue, I want to change the font family. I'm changing the font family to something like Times New Roman. You can use anything, it doesn't matter. And the next thing again, after changing the font family, I want us to change the font width. Say font width. Let's make this text to be a little bit bold. So now we've done this. Now let's look into our browser and let's see what is happening here. Okay, good. Here we are. So this is the new text we added. We said the color should be blue, and the color is blue. And we said the font family should be Times New Roman, and the font weight should be bold, and we have it here. This is it. So this is how you use inline styling. So the next method is external styling. And external styling, how do we use external styling, or how does external styling work? External styling work when you have an external file stored in a different folder or the same folder that carries your CSS file. And I always advise people to make use of the external CSS because it helps you to keep your document or your file or your page to be clean. It helps you to keep your page to be clean, so that it helps you to organize and to arrange everything in a well professional way. So now, how can we make use of, I already have, if you follow this video, the first CSS video we had, we've created a folder and we created a file that we can use our CSS inside. So here is it. We have a file here. We have a file here. This is the file we're going to link to this page. So now, how can we link it now? We're still going to stay inside the head section of our HTML doc type. So after that, we're going to call a link. After calling a link, rel, and inside the rel, we're going to say style sheet. And after the style sheet, now we're going to declare href, and it's inside the href we're going to link our HTML CSS file to our HTML file. So, and don't forget, both of them, they are in different folder. So meaning that we need to go 2 steps out of this folder in order to get to this CSS. For us to get to this CSS file. In order for us to get to this CSS file, so we say style CSS, and don't forget to close your link tag. Now we've closed our link tag now, and one thing I want us to do again is, now we change the color, we've changed the font family, we've changed the font weight. So one thing I want us to do to this same p tag is, I want us to change the font size, and let's realign it. So now we go to our CSS file. We're going into our CSS file, and it's inside our CSS file here. We're going to run everything inside our CSS file. Don't mind what is here. So inside our CSS file, that's where we're going to run it. So I'll call my p tag, and inside my p tag, that is where I will have all the codes run. And now what I want to do is, I want to change the font size. Font size, I will say font size should be 25 pixel. Font size should be 25 pixel. And text align, the text should align to the center. Text should align to the center. And if we go back to our browser, we see that this thing, our text in our browser has changed. But now, what is now the difference between using an inline CSS, internal and external CSS? And if I'll tell you, if you declare something inside the inline CSS, CSS has a priority to choose what is the style that is available in an inline style over external or internal. And the style that is available in the internal will also be selected first before considering the external. So in order for you to avoid conflict of style, if you declare any style using an inline CSS, make sure you remove it first before declaring any other style using an internal or external. Else the inline CSS style, the inline style in your file will override the external style. So that's about that, guys. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.